Okay. I'm going to have to go talk to the quartermaster and pre-requisition a certain amount of stuff to go into the church then.
Like at some point during the morning, like I guess Jeannie would have seen you like in the church, and one of the things Jeannie said that when she was done with the secret room,
Yeah.
that she actually wanted to talk to you about the holy symbol, that she wanted to help you make it since she could actually carve, and she's like probably the only most qualified person to actually do it here,
Sure.
since she actually knows the iconography.
So before getting into that, there's 2 features of the church when complete that you don't have anybody in the village right now that can finish them. And that would be the stained glass window.
Yep.
That sits in the back, and then the bell for the bell tower. You would have to find.
Jeannie can't do the bell. You don't have metalwork.
Yeah, I can. I have smith's tools.
You have smith tools, but you don't have the raw materials to make it with.
Oh yeah, that's fine. That's fair. Yep.
Is that something we can make out of? I don't know what bells are typically made out of. Is that something we can make out of the copper and tin we have in the hills?
Yeah, once you guys start taking copper and tin out of the hills.
Gotcha. That was just like that's a later problem, but yeah.
So Ekon, you're starting to requisition materials and labor.
Yeah.
So what tasks are you pulling this materials and labor from?
I mean, right now we've just finished the palisade, right? Like I feel like we finished the palisade, we finished the long haul.
Mm-hmm.
So right now the only thing we are actively working on is the keep, right?
And the fields as well.
And repairing the damage to the fields, yeah. So I mean, my thought is I can just take some of the resources that had been previously going to the long haul and the palisade, because those are done.
Okay. Well, those resources were starting to go to repairing the other houses in the town. Because you have people that have basically either been sleeping in the long haul or have been camping out in the open village.
Right.
So that's going to be your next hurdle, is convincing these people that completing the church is more important than putting a more permanent roof over their heads.
I mean, I don't actually know that I believe in that, so maybe I'll just help them with their houses then.
And then that would push the church off for probably another couple of weeks at least.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. If I can do something to do, like if I can clean out enough of it that we could have a mass in here, even without necessarily having a complete roof or whatever, I might put a little bit of work towards that. But basically, no, I think that getting the place livable is more important, and I can always hold small ceremonies in people's individual houses.
Okay. Like I said, you've cleared away all the debris and such from the main floor of the church. For a lot of reasons, just because there was useful lumber still in there.
Right.
And lumber that's not useful would still be good for burning.
I've got 2 other long-term questions.
Sure.
We could just go real quick. We had 7 days. In the last session, can I put that towards downtime training?
Training towards...
I was training acrobatics with my brother.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. And then my hireling is a herbalist named Ashbrand. What do I have to do to get him working on a garden that has components for making poisons and spell components?
You would probably have to spend a couple of days in the wilderness just really familiarizing yourself with the herbs and things that are growing out there. Once that work is done, I would say your retainer can probably put that garden to right with no more effort on your part.
Excellent. So I think I might borrow Orson and go do that for the next couple of days then.
Okay. So for the time being, then, you're going to hold mass in the cleared out church that doesn't have a roof yet, or basically in whatever buildings are currently finished.
Yeah, whatever's available.
Okay.
Heirs wherever you are.
And Victor, you're going to take an excursion out into the wilderness following, trying to trace these vines down, yes?
Yeah, and trying to make a map along the way.
So your goal is to travel half day out and then half day back, is that correct?
Yeah, since we haven't actually explored this much.
You're not looking to spend the night in the woods.
Not yet. We'll see how the first half day goes.
Who's going with you?
Well, if nobody is going with me, then I guess my retainer will.
Take Orson.
I think Orson's free.
Yeah, Orson can come.
Okay.
That way you don't get lost, given that Orson is our survival guy.
Have Orson make a survival check.
Orson's survival is plus... Is survival wisdom?
I rolled a 13. I rolled a 13. So what's his plus?
Plus 2.
So it'd be a 15.
Okay.
Wait, no. Is he plus 5? It's plus 3.
So what you know for certain is that, and watching Orson do it, it's almost like magic in and of itself, because he's able to, like, he'll walk over to a suspicious mound of underbrush and clear it away to find some of these red thorny vines underneath, which you didn't even see necessarily. A little bit past midday, so around the time you guys are breaking to have a midday meal, and at this point you're going to be turning back, so you don't want to camp in the woods overnight. Orson's kind of official conclusion is that we should really put together like a major excursion, because you guys didn't find the terminus of these vines moving out half of a day. You guys could be traveling, worst case scenario, you're traveling all the way through the mists at the edge of your borders.
Yeah.
About that half day travel out, though, that's about where you start seeing some of the silver trees. Not many, maybe one tree in 100, but you've noticed, or rather Orson has noticed and has passed on to you, that they seem to be a little more numerous this far out, and they might be even more numerous even further out. See, his official recommendation is head back to the village and then work on putting together an expedition that can go out and try to trace these vines to the terminus, because you only find them in one direction, and it's almost like drawing a straight line. You're looking at this as you're sketching this map as you go, and you're pretty sure you're keeping a like west-northwest bearing for most of the day.
All right, we will take his advice then.
The lattices that have been built up that the vines are taking hold on are a very good short-term solution, but you're pretty sure like within 2, maybe 3 weeks, the vines will have choked them out, and they'll either have to be mended or rebuilt. Edmont.
Sure.
There's a nearby hill. I mean, there's several hills nearby outside the village, none of which are particularly high, but you pick the one that has the least foliage on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives you a faraway overlook of the manor from the north. And looking down below, I mean, the most prominent feature, the largest feature, other than the things in the village itself, is just this muddy path through the forests that at one point would have been a stream with running water.
Mm-hmm.
And you begin taking sketches
of
the village from this direction. And with that evening, everybody reconvenes back in the town. Their tasks for the day complete.
I will hand my sketches of Jeannie over to her.
I'm gonna it's okay if I'll make her like a ripping motion without actually ripping it.
By all means.
I'm gonna rip the sketch down the middle of the man.
Okay. And you do that.
And I'll look at it. And I'll hand it back to Edmont and be like, okay, we'll check on that tomorrow. And then I'll take the other one, right? Mm-hmm. And I'll just ask to borrow some charcoal, and then I'll
do with them as you will.
Yeah, I'm borrowing charcoal, and I'm just rubbing out rubbing over the man, like to like covering him up and then handing the
Blot him out.
yeah blotting him out.
Hold on to him. This is your
I know,
your
but
experimentation.
I mean, well, okay, I'll hold one, you hold the other, because I don't know if it's like you, like maybe you're cursed,
Please don't say that.
or if it's just all pictures. Because I haven't had this guy show up in any of my technical drawings.
Well, then don't have me draw schematics then, I suppose.
Does this dude show up on any of the maps that I drew today?
No. No, you surveyed the red thorns out about 4 or 5 hours, and you come back, and no, there's no man haunting your drawings. You're not sure what Edmont's problem is.
I'll need eventually a big piece of canvas because I want to turn the sketch that I took today into a large piece for our home. As it were.
I have a couple of ideas I want to run by everybody. I've been thinking. So, and like Jeannie pulls out her notebook and she like turns to a page. She's like, "So I have some thoughts on Trieste, and I have some not Trieste, Donique. Trieste just is werewolf malt. She's otherwise fine? Question mark.
Well, when you spoke with Deadwood, the Luke Guru, he told you that one of the questions was what happens when one is bitten by your kind, and he said that
they say they die.
Yeah, we'll have to. That's a later problem. Like one thing at a time. I haven't put any thought into that yet.
Okay.
So the thought like that I have is we have magic that like I know that there's a greater like version of the restoration spell that both Ekon and I can cast. If the greater version of that doesn't work, when Ekon is able to call upon that miracle, there are some other things we might be able to try. I know that there is magic that can edit memories, although I can't cast it, and we would probably need a very powerful wizard. We might try like bolstering like her mental defenses with like bless spells, guidances, and with like bless
those all sound good, but none of those magics actually last long enough to deal with an ongoing affliction, which is also the problem with most of the things I've thought to try for the disease that's affecting people bitten by werewolves. Like, there's nothing that actually lasts long enough for that to help them recover over the course of days.
Well, what I'm talking about is like if you the solution that I thought maybe might work is we had the closest we've come to like getting any kind of coherence out of her was when Victor went into her mind palace, I guess. I don't know. Like said she was in a room. I don't know. So maybe between the three of us, like say if I cast Enhance Ability and you cast Bless or maybe Enhance a different one, because that's of course under the assumption that like she's like out of character, like making saving throws of some kind for crazy. Like what kind of saving throw is crazy? Is that a wisdom saving throw or charisma or intelligence or just yes?
I mean, you're assuming it's magic too. It could just be natural, and I don't know if there's a way to use magic to make somebody go crazy.
Well, I mean, like the magic would just bolster her mental fortitude and stuff, and like maybe she could overcome it herself with a little magical assistance. But we would need probably some way to like talk her into that. That would be like probably a downtime project over like several weeks where we try that. Maybe we can talk her out of her crazy.
We need to give her therapy, is what you're saying.
Right, magical and like Victor's going to have to like step up and be therapist, and while Ekon and I there provide magic drugs.
Vector is possibly the worst possible therapist I can imagine.
Does that make him a magical psychologist?
What's the difference between a psychologist and a therapist?
Whether or not they can prescribe drugs?
That's
right. Okay.
Psychologist.
Okay. And then the other thing is eventually when we get settled down, I want to find an apprentice. The reason being is I kind of have, like, we have, what is the word here? We have are we under an obligation to provide information for I forget, like, are we under obligation to provide information on how our system of magic works to the king?
As I understood, he said he would press us for questions when they arose. That's how I came to read the situation.
Right, and yeah, as well. But like right now, as it is, other than giving him like an academic rundown, which I probably should do after that lesson and the freaking lightning in the walls. I don't know how Ekon and I cast magic. I don't know how that would work with somebody from this realm. So I think it might.
As he's not asked us anything, I say don't do anything until it is asked.
Well, I kind of also want to know, like, can I teach like one of these people to cast magic with a relic?
You don't know.
I mean, you can teach Tenny because that's a house tradition we've had for thousands of years, and we should probably start doing that.
Well, I mean, yeah, obviously, Tenny needs to learn, but I mean, like I don't know, just like a village child.
There are any young children in the village. There's one actually. There's one young girl in the village. One of Demetrius' daughters.
Yep.
They don't seem to trust magic that much. I think if you say, I want to teach this child magic, you're going to upset them.
I think what they would do is they would be upset and then do it anyway because Noble, and I point at myself.
I mean, they will do what we say, but I don't want to borrow trouble.
Well, like, so I have a plan for that. Like, right? I could build a prosthetic arm for his son, the one that lost his arm, as recompense for taking his daughter as an apprentice.
Can't Ekon eventually cast a spell that would just grow him a new arm?
Like, I think that's like a 7th or 8th level spell that costs.
Yeah, Error might eventually grant me that miracle, but that's like a lifetime undertaking for an 8th arm.
Okay. I wasn't sure how powerful that spell was.
It's exceptionally powerful.
Okay.
And the other thing is, and then Jeannie pulls out a. You have no idea where she pulls this out from, by the way. She pulls out a giant poster, and on it, it's like. Basically, it's the plans for a water tower. It's like it's written in Comic Sans and stuff.
Did you steal that from my art supplies?
No comment, and I could go on.
So you're going to build a water tower?
So this is a water storage device of some kind?
Hold on, I actually have a. Let's see.
Like Evie's looking at it, but she's looking at it upside down. She has no idea what this even is.
So there's a ritual tower that opens a portal to the plane of water?
No, we use the endless.
There you go. In the chat, there you go. That's there it is.
The idea is we put the endless decanter up with a magic mouth spell.
Right. So basically, Jeannie wants to like build. She wants to make a big water tower, and she wants to take the cap off the decanter of endless water, stick it to the top up there, and then underneath it put a magic mouth that activates when like another object is above water and then causes it to speak the command word over and over until the it's full above a line.
I think it's easier to explain.
And then, like, use gravity, like, just gravity feeds, just basic fluid dynamics, gravity feed. So the big problem with, like, having a water tower is getting the water up to the tower. But we have an infinite supply of magically created water. We don't have to worry about that. We just have to have a way to do that.
I'm going to rule that Jeannie would already know this, but you can't speak a command word for a magic item with a magic mouth. It has to be spoken by an actual person with the intent to tap into the magic inside of the item. That said, there's no reason this same water tower idea theoretically couldn't just work with rainwater.
Couldn't work with what?
Rainwater.
Yeah.
So Jeannie, all we have to do, we put a tube that runs from the bottom of the tower to the top of the tower, and so whenever the water runs out, somebody just speaks the word into the tube. The sound travels up, unlocks the decanter, it fills up, right? And they speak again to stop it.
Oh, that's a good idea, actually.
You
Yeah.
just like phone.
I don't.
Yeah, no,
I
I
don't know what this diagram. I've been looking at it for the past 3 minutes or so. I can't tell what's going on here.
You should have just made a picture of this diagram.
It's a PowerPoint slide from Genie's deck.
Like I see,
Yeah.
we've got collaboration and networking as part of this.
Right.
This is an in-character diagram. Maybe a character, I guess.
Yeah.
That's fair. Fair enough.
Yeah, Evie says, Genie, I cannot stress enough that I have no idea what any of those words you just said even meant. But if you can make it work, go for it.
All right, this is a long-term project. Like, I just want a water tower built so we could have running water. Basically.
Here, hold
Like,
on.
I don't know
Hold on
how
a second.
the castle got running water, but I do know that if we get a storage of enough enough water stored high enough, I can run the water we want using gravity.
Okay, so Evie has 8 intelligence. I don't play her like a dimwit, but she looks at something like this, and she just has no idea what to make of it. This is not her forte at all.
Brick, I actually had a question when we were discussing this earlier. With the way the decanter works, if it's gushing out water and you were to block the flow, would the pressure just like build up until it explodes, or would it stop the flow until the blockage is removed, or like how does that actually work?
You don't know. That's an excellent question.
Do not try that, please.
Yeah, like how Brick put the diagram in the feed.
So, this is Genie's PowerPoint.
Right.
And this is simpler than building a ritual tower to open a portal to the plane of water.
How about just collecting rainwater?
Let's start with that.
Yeah, Evie thinks you're really overthinking this.
Endless clean water. Rain. I mean,
Rainwater is usually pretty clean.
I actually think that like doing both is probably the smart thing. I honestly didn't think about the rainwater because I was like thinking about it from the incredibly over-engineered perspective.
This is why you have us, Genie.
How do you think actual medieval villages collected water?
I understand that, but I was thinking about it from a like just what is the most over-engineered solution I could think of.
Okay.
And that was set a magic mouth to activate the decanter of endless
Is
water.
anybody else doing anything tonight?
I would like to get both Victor and Trieste into an area that I can observe them overnight. I hit them with remove disease, which is only slowing the disease or halting the disease for the night, and I want to see how they recover in the morning. I basically want to keep them under observation.
Okay.
Oh, I guess before we go to bed, I'll blow all my spell slots on Cure Wounds for Trieste. If Ekon thinks that will be fine. Ekon's the one that examined them medically. Because I know that...
I mean, if anything that a Cure Wounds would have done, I can already have done. Like, I get my house slots back on short rests, so I have a pretty... Like, over the course of a day, I have a lot of healing words I can throw out. So, like, yeah, if that's relevant, I would have patched up their hit points by now, Brick.
Okay.
Victor is going to try and find Coriana and see if she knows anything about these diseases passed by the wolves, now that we know that such a thing happens from our earlier talk with the dead.
I'm not giving her any more daggers.
As of now, Coriana is still... she has designs on just sleeping in the manor house where she's been sleeping.
That's fine. Victor will go over to her before she goes to bed and talk to her.
Coriana tells you that... I mean, she congratulates you and your family on the great victory. She said that she imagines that wounding one of the Loup-Garou would be enough of a display of power to make them halt their aggression. Sending one back dead would have been a strong message, and instead you have sent back their the lesser members of their clan to report that both of the ones that had gone had been slain. She's very impressed that this has managed to happen.
we thank you for your congratulations. The more pressing concern for us though is, well, I kind of got eaten, and apparently that's a really bad thing. So I was hoping maybe you've heard of what happens when you get bit by one of these things, or you may know why the wound doesn't heal or how to fix it.
She says that amongst her people, when a man sustains a wound from a creature like a loup-garou, which is known to pass along diseases, even if the man is hailed as a hero amongst the family, very often he will be banished. For these sorts of diseases can lead to very profound curses, or in some cases, death. However, it is not her call. She tells you that your cousin is going to have to decide what is to be done with you.
Oh, I'm not worried about what my cousin will do with me. I'm more worried about these curses that you speak of. Death is one thing, but curses.
She gives you a knowing smile, and she agrees that some of the curses known by the family, death would be preferable to contracting them.
Can you provide, or will you provide, any details on what you know about these curses?
She knows that people that are bitten by the loup-garou do not survive.
Is that because they are killed by their neighbors?
In some cases. I do not think that this will be a concern in your case. Your cousin seems to have a silver tongue when it comes to swaying the opinions, and she cranes her head, looking out towards the village, of the superstitious.
Thankfully, she does seem to be unusually good at that so far. Which leaves my concern with what will happen if I'm not killed by the people of the village or exiled, and if I don't die as a result of the bite itself.
She tells you that if you don't die as a result of contracting this illness, and if the villagers don't run you off, if neither of these things happen, she says that she will be happy to witness it. I've come to enjoy our conversations, Lakomi.
I as well, Eugenia.
But you don't get any more information out of her than that. She thinks you about to die, son.
If Vistana thinks you're about to die, you're really in trouble.
Before I leave, if you don't mind, what if one is bitten by one of the other wolves, the lessers?
She thinks about it for a moment. Your cousin, Edmont,
Yes.
sustained a bite, did he not?
Yes, he did. He's complained of dreams, but we think that's just a result of being attacked by a monster that would make anybody unsettled.
She tells you that there should be a full moon, either tonight or the following night. Whether or not Edmont has contracted a curse soon enough, we will all know.
What should we expect? He says this hesitantly.
She tells you that you fought enough of these creatures to know what Edmont might become.
Wait. Are you telling me that getting bit by one of these wolves will turn you into one of them?
It is known to happen.
Oh boy. I thank you for your knowledge. Hopefully your witness of future events as a result of these tragedies will be payment enough.
Who else has something they want to do tonight before your long rest?
I do.
Victor will go tell Edmont what he learned about.
Does that change what Edmont wants to do tonight?
No, absolutely not. In fact, it just reinforces what Edmont's about to do.
Okay.
2 key points. Cast Pass Without Trace. On myself. And I'm skipping town.
I mean, do you tell anybody that you're leaving?
No. No.
I'm pretty sure once he starts casting Pass Without Trace to give a +10 to stealth and a +10 to checks to track him, he does not intend for us to find him.
So you don't tell anybody that you're leaving or why. So yeah, Victor, you finish up your conversation with Koyana. By the time you get back out into the common room of the manor house, where some construction has taken place, and some of the rooms are starting to come together on the bottom floor at least. At this point, Edmont has already gone. And as far as anybody knows, they haven't seen him since the evening meal.
Okay. Well, if nobody's seen Edmont and he doesn't seem to be in the village, then Victor will not say anything.
How much do the rest of us know about Edmont's predicament?
For the record, Edmont's stealth, when he has that up, is +16 to overall. So.
Yeah, I don't think we're finding Edmont.
That's pretty good. So I guess that's going to be another thing to deal with in the immediate future is what is the response to Edmont just vanishing? You guys just figure he's dealing with his stuff?
Do we know what his stuff is going on? I don't know. I kind of been operating under the
Victor didn't tell anybody. Victor was going to go talk to Edmont about it.
Right, but Edmont's not. You don't find Edmont.
So Victor doesn't say anything. Victor figures he knows what's going on, so he's not an immediate threat to the village. He knows people are going to panic and it's going to cause issues. So
Edmont can take care of himself, and I have patients to look after tonight. Unfortunately,
Yeah, I've been operating under the assumption that Jeannie doesn't really know doesn't know that Edmont is going to turn into a werewolf. So
Evie's really mad that he skipped town without talking to her first.
Okay.
Like,
I guess Victor will go find Ekon at some point and tell him that, he's probably cursed and Trieste is probably cursed, and that's about all we know.
what about you?
and I'll kind of motion towards the giant wolf fights on your abdomen.
Yeah, these are worse than we thought.
Yeah, Evie's gonna be like, I got mauled by one of those things. Am I cursed? I feel okay.
Seems to be transmitted by the bite.
Mm.
If you weren't bitten, I think you might be okay. But
No, she was bit, but yeah, she was bit. But
you might want to stay with Ekon for observation, just to be on the safe side.
do I need to go Go ahead.
Edmont, give me a Constitution saving throw.
Here we go.
Please fail.
Oh, look at that one. Look at that one. Look at how beautiful that one is. That's a 3, sir.
That's a great time to roll a 1.
Bear with me 1 second.
He needs to pull out a werewolf stat block.
I'm just glad somebody finally rolled what they were supposed to roll.
Get that one out now.
Right.
The sad thing is there's an infinite number of ones.
All right, now we're turning in for the night. Everybody can go ahead and take their long rest. Victor, you received lesser restoration today, so you can go ahead and regain up to half your hit dice.
Okay.
As normal.
Can I use magical healing on him?
Yeah.
Oh, well, Victor, okay, go ahead and take, hold on. I got a 3rd level spell, so let's go ahead and, what about Trieste? How bad is she?
Triss was like at 3 hit points, I think. She was...
Okay, so
really
Victor, you're gonna get, 17 hit points back. And then Trieste will get 13 hit points back. And then Victor, you'll get...
Oh, Victor is good now.
Okay, and then Trieste will get another 6.
Okay.
Is Trieste... I mean, I can throw more. I'll just burn all my spell slots. Trieste will also get another 9 and another...
I think Trieste is good now.
Yeah, I think everybody's good. That's all my spell slots.
Victor.
So I didn't realize the damage was the ongoing issue for that, so...
Yes.
You dream. In your dream, you're in a dark and quiet room. There are about a half dozen people here. Looking around, everybody is wearing black. And you recognize the faces of your cousins and of your companions. And they're all standing around a makeshift bed. Nobody's yet constructed an actual bed in this village. So it's just a bedroll laid out over essentially a table. And it takes you a while to circle around to see who it is laying there. And it's Trieste. She's wearing a white funeral gown, which she's bleeding through her stomach badly. And her face is very pale. And all of your friends and companions are mourning her. And as you're watching, you start to have very great difficulty seeing. Your vision gets blurry. Your breathing gets caught more and more in your throat as you feel your tongue swelling up. And you realize that the sickness that has killed Trieste is taking hold in you as well. And you place your own hand down on your chest, and it comes away slick with fresh blood, as though the wound had never been bandaged at all. Then you hear a voice behind you, and it simply says, "I can make it go away." Turn, and there's nobody standing there.
Can I respond to the dream, or is it just a...
Make me a horror check. Let's find out. Horror checks is the same kind of roll as a death save. You just want to see an 11 or better.
You got a 16.
Okay. There's nobody standing behind you to have said the whisper. You just hear the low, muffled weeping of the mourners nearby.
If I can respond, interact, Victor will yell out, "Who's there?"
You call out, "Who's there?" And you hear the voice again. "You need not die."
Does this sound similar? Well, so when Victor got his special dagger ability, I forget the right voices in that.
There were no voices, just the vision.
Okay. Who are you? Show yourself.
I can help.
I've had enough help from nameless bodies. Who are you?
Then you hear the voice again, but it sounds further and further away now. You need only ask.
Can Victor tell the direction of the voice?
Every time you spin, it sounds like it's coming from behind you, no matter which way you face. It's like somebody's leaning in and whispering it in your ear, but there's nobody there.
Victor will yell out again, "Who are you?"
And the dream starts to get swallowed by the fog of wakefulness, and you just hear one last time, "You need only ask." Then you sit upright in your room, matted with sweat. And you look down at your chest and you can see that the wound that is still bound with gauze that had received magical healing is weeping once again.
Ekon!
Ekon,
I mean, Ekon's right there. He's literally has someone ordered to keep watch over these guys at the night when he gets whatever little sleep he does.
so Ekon is like dozing off in a chair nearby.
Yep.
You
Yep. And there's
kick yourself
one
awake.
of our retainers is just awake, watching them with instructions to wake Ekon on if anything changes.
I mean, and you didn't need the retainer's help because Victor's voice echoes through the whole bottom floor of the manor. So I mean, everybody hears Victor calling out.
So I'm gonna go there and look at this, pull off the bandages.
Check Trieste now.
Yeah, okay. I mean, Victor seems to be breathing, so...
Now, had you moved Trieste back to the manor house?
Yeah, I had her and Victor in a place I could observe them overnight.
Abernethy and Leotgard were woken by Victor screaming. And Trieste has too, and you see she's rubbing the sleep from her eyes. She's definitely not dead, at least not yet. But looking down, you can see that her wound has also started to weep.
Can I do a medicine to try and figure out...
Make me an insight
anything?
check before that.
Sure. $13.
As you approach, Abernethy and Leotgard have been just startled awake. Like they're just getting, they'd heard Victor call out. Trieste has a very disturbed look on your face. Like something has really rattled her, even before Victor had called out. And as you approach to examine her, she reaches out and grabs your hand and looks up and says, "Is Victor alive?"
Seems to be for the moment.
I had the most bizarre dream. And then you seems to notice that, yes, her wound has started to weep again, and she clutches her hand to her chest.
Can I do anything to stop the bleeding immediately?
Yeah, you can redress the wounds.
Okay.
They're not sustaining damage anymore. They're just nothing that, like, the wounds just aren't stitching together very well.
Right.
And as you're going about this task, I mean, she just recounts, she essentially describes exactly what Victor had just heard. But with reverse.
Are they swapped in terms of perspective, or?
Yeah, she says she had seen a vision of you and Edmont and everyone else standing around Victor's corpse. And she realized that she was dying of the same sickness, and she heard somebody tell her that she could be healed. But she found the dream so disturbing that she woke up, and then a few moments later, Victor cried out. So she had awoken even before Victor cried out.
Okay.
Anything else exciting happened tonight?
You tell us.
Is that enough of an interruption that I don't get a long rest, or?
No, this was just a momentary scratch.
Okay. Mostly because I'm going to need some more lesser restorations for.
Yeah, everybody can go ahead and take the benefits of the long rests.
And then the first thing I'll do in the morning is cast lesser restoration on each of them again.
Okay.
Edmont's intent is to go to one of the abandoned villages and hold up out there, because if he does turn into a monster, he doesn't want to be anywhere near any of the people.
Edmont,
That's his intent. Sir.
You sustain 31 points of damage.
Owie.
You can mix this up however you want between bludgeoning, slashing, and piercing, if that makes a difference to you. You awake the next morning. Your intent was to head out to one of the other villages, but nearby is very relative. Like, it's still going to be a couple of days' travel on foot. But I guess your thought was, well, I'll go out there, spend a couple of days, so if this transformation comes over, I won't hurt anybody, and then I'll come back.
Yeah.
So that night, you had just found a comfortable spot of grass under a tree, put your back to it to sleep. When you wake up in the morning to bird calls overhead, there's just your chest feels very tight, and moving causes stabs of pain throughout your torso. You realize, looking down at your body, your face, your upper chest are coated in blood that you're pretty sure isn't yours. Your hands and under your nails, your clothes, whatever you were wearing, is completely torn to rags. You have scratches and cuts from animals, and you think like all up and down your arms, anywhere there's exposed flesh along your neck. And nearby is laying a large buck. One of its antlers broken off violently. You find it laying 15 or 20 feet away, covered in blood. And your jaw is sore. And just your mouth is just filled with cotton. And looking at this buck, it has been torn open and its entrails have spilled out onto the ground. And you hurt all over.
Mont retches a bit, and then looks down at himself. Starts making back for the manor. And when he gets within eyeshot of the village, he's going to cast Pass Without Trace again with 2 key points and get back into the manor.
So I've got to try to beat what? Like a go ahead and make the stealth check. I rolled a 20. That's not bad.
28.
Yeah, okay.
I have a passive perception of 17. I think mine's the highest.
I'm gonna assume you guys have guys whose job is to watch, be lookout.
But none of them beat a 28.
No, none of them's gonna. not even
Ekon
with
doesn't
20.
beat a 28.
I can't beat a 28 if I roll a 20.
I can get 6 max.
But no, once he arrives at the manor, he's going to present himself to his brother and say, "Well, I think I'm ow. I think my suspicions were well founded."
That's Jesus. Is your arm even? That is not in the socket.
It's not my blood. Don't worry. It's not any one of our ward's blood. This is not Chris's blood.
Have you spent hit dice to get hit points back, or do you magical heal?
I haven't had to she's take a long rest yet.
No, you don't get the benefits of the long rest because you spent the night tearing this buck apart.
Sure, but I mean, you still like a short rest to spend hit dice.
You can spend hit dice for a short rest, sure, if you want.
Yeah, sure, I can absolutely do that.
He also burn his key points because he's got that optional class feature.
Monks are dumb.
Yep.
So you're not actually like hurt right now. Like this is just the bruise.
Oh, I'm bloodied.
Oh, even after you spent all your hit dice and key points.
I haven't spent hit dice yet.
Oh,
I haven't spent hit dice yet, so. No, the 31 damage ain't nothing to sneeze at.
Well, you missed a eventful night that looks like definitely kind of eventful than yours. This isn't good. Was it a full moon last night? I was so busy.
It was.
All right, and there's nothing. You didn't feel anything the night before?
No.
I can't hide this from Ruby, or Genie, or Evie.
Interesting. Nice Freudian slip there.
Just somewhere Evie is like, she breaks out into a cold sweat. We don't have walls. Like, I want to say, we just have a big open room, right?
In the manor?
Yeah.
Yeah,
have separate rooms.
You've
here.
cleared away the debris and stuff from the lowest floor of the manor.
I think there maybe are some temporary like curtain partitions.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just like, how secret is this conversation is what I'm actually...
Probably not super secret.
Yeah.
Hey, you're all there.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, Evie came over when you accidentally called her Ruby.
Yep.
She heard that.
She just teleports in.
Yep.
Yeah, it's Edmont covered in blood.
And then Genie comes up shortly behind to make fun of Evie. Oh no, Destil.
So,
Your microphone.
animal?
That's I think one of your cables came loose.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. Was it an animal? Did this to you? You did this to them?
I did this to the animal, I think.
Our out of character. Wait, I guess in character. Has anyone actually been tracking how long it is between full moons since we got here?
I mean, roughly
Not as
once a
of yet.
month.
Is the full moon like last 3? The full moon lasts 3 days, doesn't it?
I can.
So we don't know if this will happen again tomorrow.
All right.
We need to secure him. I see. I'm not the only
I
one.
feel like what he did last night was actually fairly responsible. Like,
We need a cage. I'll handle that, I
I
guess.
feel like if you give him a cage, he's just going to hurt himself trying to get out of it. And maybe someone else. Why
Well,
don't
if we
just-
make the cage
one
out of
our familiars
ironwood,
following him.
Edmont, did you have any dreams last night?
No.
I guess you're luckier than us then.
all right.
And there's a voice, as one of the young men from the village, running into the manor, out of breath. Pardon me. One of the Keltostravi was sighted, coming this way towards the village. He's alone. What should we do?
Get everyone inside the palisade.
We'll go talk to him, I guess, right?
Yep.
That sounds about right.
I'm in no
Right.
state to go talk to anybody.
Yeah, you get washed up and put some pants on.
I think he's in the perfect position to talk to somebody. Look at him.
He's
Is
not
that the
wearing
Travi?
That's what they sound like.
The
That's what
Keltostravi, they turn into very small dogs when they change.
Go ahead and get back 6 hit points from a healing word from my house
Thanks.
slot.
I'll
That'll
use
do
my
it for
house.
now.
I'll use my house slot as well, and you'll get back 10.
Thank you.
I think before. How many hit points are you down?
I'm still down about another 15.
So Victor will use his house slot as well to give you back some.
You don't have a healing spell to do that with.
No, it's the temporary hit point thing, which you heal like 2 HP or something.
Oh, right. Well, that's not the house slot, but yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
something else.
Yeah, go ahead, take 2 hit points from me too from that. So that's 4 extra.
I'll give you 2 from me. 6.
Okay.
Listen, you are you're basically our front line. So,
And I'm not in a state to go out there right now.
right.
Just so
Go
the
ahead
work
and
stops.
Just take my 5 temp HP then.
The work stops in the village as the people get back inside the palisade. Sure enough, by the time you get out to, I guess this would be, excuse me, the southern part of the village greens, emerging from the tree line is a single werewolf. In his, when you met the first few, they were in their human forms and transformed before you. This one is in his monstrous form. Neither wolf nor man, but both at once. And when he sees you guys forming up, why don't we go ahead and place yourselves on the map here? Might be a good idea.
I mean, he's over here, isn't he?
Yeah, he'd be approaching the village from down here. So who all's with you? Is it just the 6 of you?
Yeah, I think so.
Minus me because I'm still covered in blood. Yeah.
So you're up in the
I can-
manor having a bath run?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
5 seconds with the decanter of endless water will fix that.
Well, that gives you a lot of water, but I mean, he's got some scrubbing to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Geyser.
We've all seen that scene from Pulp Fiction.
Mm,
You just watched me
That's-
wash my hands. I watched you get them wet. That seems like a good place to take our break for today. So let's go ahead and drop
That
the curtain
tracks.
here. Go ahead and get your coffee, get your bagel. Let's reconvene in about 15 minutes.